Good evening, everyone. I'm Nathan, here with my wonderful wife, Laura.
Hello.
And we're here to do a review of the new Monopoly Travel World Tour.
We sure are. We're going to go on a trip around the world to, all of those like iconic sites.
All the places that I cannot pronounce.
Yeah, pretty much. So this Monopoly is quite a bit different to standard Monopoly, although it does have like some things in common. The main kind of feature for this is there's a wipe clean game board with stampers in it. Now, I don't think we wiped it off.
I was just thinking, we played it recently, and yeah, we'll show you sort of how it works and all that. But
you're meant to wipe it off after every use to keep the game board clean. We didn't do that, more to show what they look like.
Yes.
So that was my thought, obviously not Nathan's.
And there's also other cards you can actually stamp, which actually are permanent part of the game. Once you stamp it, that's it.
And then they actually change future games, so quite interesting.
So this was, I think, 25 at Kmart.
Target in Australia. Yep, I'm sure other places are selling it here. It's not one of their like more expensive ones, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, only 4 players can play this one. You've got Hazel the cat, T-Rex, Rubber Ducky, and Scotty.
The Scotty dog.
Get it? You get it? You get it?
We'll show you those little stamps as well, because the playing pieces are the stamps, but they've all got like a little holiday theme on them too.
Similar to the Monopoly Builder.
Yeah,
they're all construction
themed.
themed. So here's the instructions. We'll have a scan of it down below in our little directory of manuals.
This is a brand new game though, so the chances you're going to pick it up right now, secondhand, without the manual, I think are pretty slim.
Unfortunately, the board we got wasn't flat when we purchased it, which was a little unfortunate, but still lays flat once you lay it out. But
if you bought one of these, let us know. Was your board flat and we just were unlucky, or maybe there's something to do with like the dry erase surface that makes it not quite so flat? I don't know.
The other thing I want to mention is they've got their new like eco-friendly packaging. So most of this was just in like tissue paper or wrapped up in a little bit of paper.
Or like the cards had like a little paper band around them rather than like plastic.
So it's unfortunate that they couldn't maybe have divided this little box here so they could actually sort of separate the money and things. But
so yeah, you've probably already spotted here, this is the money. It's not a pile of notes that you can just pop an elastic band around. It's little cardboard notes that
you have to pop out.
Yeah. But yeah, so the tray here is just one big tray. So if you just like toss all of that in, and then we had to get our own elastic band and bag, if you just tossed all that in there, it's just going to float around. They could have put just a bit of cardboard, even just halved, to put like cards on one side, pieces the other, or something to keep it neater. I'm all for the whole eco-friendly, but it's still got to be convenient so that your money's not falling out of your box.
Or having to organise it every time you open it.
Yeah.
And we have a nice little just graphic here.
I thought this was really cool. You've got like Mr. Monopoly posing, and then a little bucket list there, and then you've got playing pieces here, seeing the Northern Lights.
I find this one not pretentious, just sort of relaxing game to play, if that makes sense. It's not forced.
It's a nice one. I like it, and you'll see why. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll look at it and think, ooh, I don't like it, but we enjoy this one.
Here's the board.
Yeah, so you've got a map of the world there, with kind of all the little places marked with flags, and those places are the properties. Not that they're quite properties in this version.
Shall we just go through and see exactly what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, so as in a lot of the Monopolies, the 4 corners are the same to the original.
So you've got go, jail and just visiting, free parking, and go to jail.
Now, so these are still considered sets. This is one of our stamps on the board here. You can see from our last game that doesn't come printed on the board. That is ink that
you can literally just...
Yeah. Now that's going to be on your thumb.
Yes, it is.
Alright, so they're still coloured sets marked like this, but you don't purchase them and like put houses and hotels on them. You do purchase the locations, but then if someone else lands on them, they're getting a tour of that location.
And the tour value is more than what you'd normally pay if you landed them for rent, quite a lot more, to compensate for the fact you don't have houses or hotels to put on them.
Yeah, no houses and hotels, there's tours only. If you do own the set though, the value that's on the card is doubled.
It's because I get to see both places.
Well, yes, exactly. This is a travel journal space. The travel journal cards are in place of the community chest cards, which we'll show you shortly.
Travel insurance is just tax.
Basically.
Local flight, there's 2. So the railway stations are divided into local flight and
all the railway stations are local flight.
Oh, then there's a long distance one, isn't there?
There is. So all the railway stations are local flights. You can pay 100 Monopoly money when landing on one to travel anywhere between the local flight space that you're on Any property that is between here and then the next local flight space. Now, that's very important for a reason which we'll get to shortly.
Yep. What else have we got? We've got obviously the blue. The chance is... Ooh, the chance.
Chance is chance, yeah. There's not a lot of chance cards, but they just help you progress throughout the game. We're not going to read out all the names. I'm sure Nathan will get a lot of these places.
That's why I don't read names out.
Now, the utilities have been replaced with the long-distance flights.
Utilities, basically, you pay $200 and you can go any location on the board.
Yes. So the reason why they're more expensive is because you're not restricted to one section and you have to land on specific spaces to win this game.
Yeah, it's not about bankrupting the other player or getting the most properties or locations.
No, you actually can't be bankrupted at all in this game. You just pay what you can until you've got zero and then hope you get more money, essentially. Yep. All right, so we come around, we've kind of explained all those. I like how there's a little picture of each of the locations, if maybe you're not familiar with the name of them.
Free parking has one small function in this game. Normally in a base game, it's just a free space, nothing happens. The golden ticket is on the free parking at the start of the game. And if you happen to land on free parking, you get that golden ticket, which will take you to any location at any time on the game board. Again,
we'll get to why that's important shortly. We've just smudged one of our stamps from last time. I'm trying to rub that out.
I should mention, once the golden ticket is used, it's out of the game and it does not get replenished on free parking.
No, it does not. It's a one use only. So you can see where our things were. They do wipe off pretty good. You are meant to do them straight away. We've obviously let this probably dry too long.
Boo.
I imagine it would stain the board if you continued to leave it there, so just keep in mind that that is not a good idea.
It's dry erase markers, I think they recommend.
So you don't need to like wash it off or anything like that, because obviously the back of the board is cardboard.
You don't want it to get wet, no.
I just used a clean tissue there to wipe it off. It says a cloth, but the tissue worked just fine. Alright, and then the other tax is a travel guide fee.
Now, shall we discuss how you actually play and win this Monopoly?
What about the goal of the game? So the idea is to get 4 of your playing pieces stamped on locations around the board.
But how do you get them stamped on the board, Laura?
Well, so you get them stamped on the board by visiting a travel goal location. And what are your travel goals, you might ask? Well, you've got to buy the locations first, and then each of the deed cards have a specific travel goal.
So let's say I brought something I can pronounce. The Grand Canyon. Great. I land on the Grand Canyon, purple. I pay the 160 or 140 fee, whatever it is.
The Grand Canyon's 140, yep.
And then, okay, great. My travel goal is to land on the Great Wall of China, which is yellow.
Yeah, so they're all colour-coded to show you. So the Great Wall of China you'd find in the yellow set over here.
So if I'm going around and I go, yes, I land on the Great Wall of China, I'd get my little playing piece here, and then I'd stamp it, and then that's 1 out of the 4 places that I've now visited.
Yes, so your travel goals all come from the deeds that you own, the destinations that you own. You can't just go, well, I'm going to stamp this one because I bought it. That's not how it works.
No.
So it's really important to make sure you've got several properties purchased or destinations purchased. Otherwise, you don't have enough travel goals to finish the game.
And also, as I mentioned, the Tour Thief landing on this one is 70, which is, I think, in the regular game, it's something like 12 or something. Mm-hmm. So it compensates for lack of houses and hotels. Yep,
and then the tour fee is doubled if you have the colour set. Again, yeah, there's no more tiers of payment or anything. They all lead somewhere totally different around the board. So you've just got to pay attention. You've kind of got to remember, you need to have these visible off to the side so you know what you're trying to land on, especially if you land on a local flight and you want to check, do I need to go somewhere in that section?
That's why the local flight, the golden ticket and the long distance flights are so important, because you can land on those specific travel goals and get a stamp.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I really liked about these cards is not only are they nicely colour coded and everything, on the back of them they're also colour coded, so if they're upside down in the pile or anything like that, it's easy to spot, oh, this is one of the yellow properties.
Not to mention they've got little facts on the back about said location.
Yeah, so it tells you what it is, where it's located, and then some information about it. That's on every single card. And then it's got the flag with the symbol, so you can locate, oh, that's where in the world it's located. So, if you're playing this with kids, maybe a little opportunity for some learning as well. So they're all nicely colour-coded. And I actually didn't know where a couple of them were. Most of them I did. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef, for example, is in Australia.
Shall we show the playing pieces?
Sure. So, as Nathan mentioned, it's only 4.
So we have T-Rex, and he's in like a little explorer hat and sort of vest.
He's also got sunglasses on, because, you know, when you go on vacation.
And little stamp. Oh, is it going to focus? So you hold it upwards and you just go bloop.
Yeah, so they're the right way up to like the way the character is facing.
Not very hard. You don't have to push very hard at all.
No. We have, is it Rubber Ducky it's called?
Rubber Ducky.
This one is probably my least favourite playing piece.
It looks something else due to the lack of colour.
Yeah, it's on a floaty, but the floaty doesn't really look like a floaty, per se. And these just pull off. They're not twist.
No.
This one's still sealed. We didn't play as the ducky.
We should, though, for another reason we'll get to shortly.
Yes. Then we have the
Scotty dog, who's with like a little lei.
Yeah, he's got a Hawaiian lei around his neck. We played as him, so can open that and show you. Yeah, they come off and on. They stay on pretty well too, because obviously these are your movers.
Yeah,
so.
I definitely maybe recommend putting them in a separate bag. I mean, that's what you suggested yesterday, just in case they come apart.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to end up potentially with ink on other things, so.
And we have Hazel with a little camera.
She's taken a photo, so we also didn't play as Hazel.
Alright, so the only other thing we need to discuss is the chance cards.
And the money.
And the money. So the chance cards, most of them are just advanced to another property or destination, or not.
Well, they're assorted, but if you land on a chance space, you just pick up a card, follow the instructions.
So this one says advance to any destinations of any of these colours. It says you snap a photo of something in Loch Ness. Keep exploring.
Yeah, they all tie in to the travel theme in some way.
And this one specifically says if you pass go, collect 200. If you pass go and something doesn't specify, you get 200. You do not collect 200.
Yeah, so the rule is you don't get it unless it says, basically.
This one's move ahead 5 spaces, advance to any destination, advance to any destination.
So obviously those cards are really useful, being able to move to somewhere specific, because obviously you have to get to 4 specific travel goals based on those properties you own to win.
So most of the chance cards are good.
Yeah.
And then we have the stamp cards, the
travel journal cards.
So basically, once you pick one of these up, you'll notice there's 2 empty stamps. So
holes. There's no stamps there yet.
You organise a boat tour for you and your friends on the Herengrat Canal in Amsterdam, stamp below. So then each player with a stamp on this card collects $50 for each of their stamps.
Yeah, so these cards are not dry erase, these are just cardboard.
So
when you first pick these cards up, if there is an empty space, you put your stamp on that card. It is there permanently.
Yep.
So then if we played this again and someone picked up this card and Nathan was, say, playing the Scotty dog again, each player with a stamp, being, say, Nathan, has to pay $50 to the bank for each of the stamps that are there.
Which is important to maybe, if you play a few times, maybe use a couple of different moving pieces. Otherwise, you could end up with very samey.
Yeah, so Nathan and I tend to play like the same pieces every time we play, because, you know, they're our favourites. That's why we pick them. But if we then filled all these with just 2 characters and then played with our kids, they're going to be like, well, why is my character not on there at all?
Exactly. Most of these just involve sort of getting money. There's a couple
or paying money.
Yeah, a couple of negative ones. Mostly they're all positive though. Like, you know, there's like a miss a turn. Was it a miss a turn, or you spilt water bottle on yourself looking at something? But most of them are pretty sort of positive, which is nice.
Yeah. I like that idea that the stamps don't just function as like marking which ones you've visited off your travel goals to win, but there's also like you've changed a future game kind of element to it.
And the final thing is the money.
Well, hang on. So we have 2 standard dice. They're just normal.
And that functions the same. You roll a double, you get another turn. 3 doubles, you go to jail. Jail, you get 3 turns to roll a double. If not, you pay $50 to the bank. And
or use a get out of jail free card. Oh, no, you can't do that because there's none of those.
No, or you can just pay $50 straight away and then roll and then move out. So all the core spaces function the same.
Yeah, so if you go past go, you get 200. You land on go to jail, you go straight to jail. And the free parking, as you mentioned, you get that golden ticket, which is this here, which you can use at any time if you've got it to, like you said, go to somewhere you need to visit.
One more thing, if you're in jail, you can pretty much do everything apart from obviously buy spots because you can't move, but you can still collect travel fees and things like that.
Tour fees.
Tour
yes.
fees.
It's also up to you if someone lands on you for you to say, hey, you owe me for a tour fee. If you don't mention it and the next person rolls...
You lose out.
Miss out. We normally don't really enforce that rule, especially if we're playing with kids, because, you know, they forget sometimes.
So we've got some of the denominations here.
Yeah, so we have 20s, which are green. They're double-sided, which is good. We've got the 500s.
We have the 10s, 100s, 20s. There's a 50 in there, which is purple.
I don't think I've picked up a 50. Hang on.
And they're pretty thick cardboard too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more worried about them getting lost than damaged.
Yeah.
They are quite small, and they're kind of fiddly because it's not like a big note you can kind of grab. You can't really stack them if you want like a neat pile because they're easier to like knock over and things. Not my favourite edition, the money. Personally, I prefer the actual notes, but that's just me.
But hey, you could just get another Monopoly out and put other money in there.
Oh yeah, you could.
I mean, the denominations are the same, minus
Aside
the ones
from
and
the fives. Yeah, there's none of those in there. There's quite a lot of them, you know, so you're not going to run out. We found it went quite quickly because there's a lot of ways to land on the locations you need to visit.
And as the game goes along and more properties are bought, there are more chances to land on the other travel spots. So.
Yeah, so you only have to get 4 of your travel goal locations to win. But if you own like 10 properties, then you've got 10 different locations you could land on to get that 4.
And then combine it with the local flights and long distance flights and the chance cards and things. Yeah.
Yep. I really like it. It's a nice, quick and easy version of Monopoly that's enough normal Monopoly, but enough difference as well. So, yeah, and easy to probably pick up and just sort of play.
Easy.
If you enjoyed watching this video, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section down below what your favourite, like, newer release of Monopoly that has different rules is.
Oh, better question yet, have you visited any of the places we've seen on the board?
Lots of cool places there. Hit this, not this subscribe button, the subscribe button, and check back soon. We have videos every single Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.